What is going on? I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. We are talking all about the first steps to take when you find out you're pregnant, because I know from personal experience, when you first find out, you could be like, what the hell? What am I doing? I'm so nervous. I'm so excited. I have every emotion. Is this real? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Or becoming parents? Like, it's completely crazy. So I just want to give you some tactical things to do when you first find out you're pregnant, just to feel like, okay, I'm taking the right steps. Like, I feel like I'm getting my ducks in a row in a way. So that is what we're diving into today. Now, I have my little co-host with me. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see, but my little Madison, if you're new here, I have a 6-week-old at the time of this recording. And she's on me in our little Solly baby wrap. So if you hear little grunts or deep breathing or anything, that's her sleeping on my chest right now. She's literally just now a permanent part of the Mind Your Hormones podcast, and I love it. But just wanted to let you know, in case you hear weird noises, it's not me. It's my daughter. Okay. So let's just get into this. So first, let me tell you what my experience when I first found out that I was pregnant. So again, like I said, Madison right now is 6 weeks old. I found out I was pregnant on October 5th. The only reason why I remember that date is because I went back to look, because I knew I was recording this podcast. And I remember I knew that I was pregnant before I even took a pregnancy test. And the way that you can know this is if you're tracking your basal body temperature, which I hope that you are. If you're not, go check out episode 123 of the podcast. It'll teach you how to do it. But if you're tracking your basal body temperature, your temperature stays high, that 98.88 around there, 98 to 98.88, depends. It could vary from after you ovulate until the day that you get your period, then it drops back down. I was expecting to get my period the day I found out I was pregnant, and my temperature didn't drop, and it stayed higher past the 14 days that it normally does. So I knew that I was pregnant, because I'm like, okay, well, my luteal phase is longer than 14 days, which means I'm pregnant. My temperature did not go down, like the temperature stayed high. So I knew that I was pregnant. I knew it was possible also. Obviously, we had tried once, which I know some people who are listening, maybe you specifically, are like, oh my God, like you've been trying for X amount of months or years. And to hear that someone tried once and got pregnant could be super triggering. And I just want to name that. And I totally get that. The reason why I'm always so vocal about it is because it should not have been easy for me. I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I didn't have a period for 2 years. I had an irregular period for forever. I was always told I was going to have to go on birth control. I was going to have to do IVF and things like that to even get pregnant because I have PCOS. And that was not the case because of all the work that I put in for years to support my cycle, to support my PCOS, to support my fertility, as well as my husband put a lot of work into before getting pregnant too, because it's not just about you, it is about your partner as well. So anyway, I just want to name that I could understand how triggering that is, but I also want to be proof of what's possible when you actually, know how to work with your body, your hormones, and do things naturally. So anyway, the point is, I knew that it was possible that we were pregnant. So I knew that I was before I even took the pregnancy test. I remember telling Chris, and he's like, no, you don't know. Like, obviously we were going to get a test. So I went. Well, also actually before that, I was doing my meditation, and I pulled cards that morning, and the card that I pulled, no shit, like, it's so crazy, was of a pregnant woman. It was of Gaia Earth, and she was pregnant. And like on the actual like goddess that I pulled was pregnant. I was like, holy shit, this is so freaking crazy. Anyway, peed on the stick, found out I was pregnant. I'm one of those people who I just peed once and that was it. Like, I didn't take multiple tests to make sure. Like I said, I knew before I even took the pregnancy test. So I just took the one test and that was it. And then the next thing that we did, well, obviously Chris was there. I didn't do like any cute thing to tell him. Like, I took the test while he was in the kitchen, and I opened the door and I was like crying. I'm like, oh my God. So that's how we did it. We didn't do any like cute fancy thing, but right away we FaceTimed my parents, and then his parents, and then our siblings. So what I would suggest, so that's how it went down for us. And then I called a couple of friends, and that was it. We didn't tell like publicly, the social media world or the whole world, till I was out of my first trimester, just because if something happened, I wouldn't want to have to navigate that with my entire community. I would, of course, have talked about it, but after the fact. So anyway, that's why we had waited till after the first trimester. We told family and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going on 10 tangents. Just stick with me. Okay. So if you right now just found out you're pregnant, first of all, congratulations. So exciting. It's like the most crazy feeling. Like, I remember such a roller coaster that first trimester of just feeling like you're so excited one second, and then literally the next second, like you could be crying and freaking out and like, oh my God, Do we make a mistake? Are we gonna be able to handle this? Our whole life is gonna change. Like, it's such a whirlwind of emotions. So if you're feeling that, like, you're not alone. I'm gonna also link in the podcast some episodes I've done when I was in my first trimester, talking about it, like, in real time, because I think it's really important to like hear that like vulnerability and just like being in it. Well, I wasn't fully in it. I did record some while I was in it, didn't release it till after the fact, because again, I didn't want to tell my whole community while I was in it, but I will release, I'll put in the show notes the podcast episodes I've done about the first trimester in case you're in that space. So anyway, if you found out, the first thing to do, again, take a picture of your pregnancy stick. I still have the one that I peed on. I literally saved. I'm like, I don't want to throw this out. Is that weird? Whatever, I saved it. If you are like FaceTiming anybody, take a screenshot of you FaceTiming them. It's like something that you're going to want to have. And again, if you already did this, like obviously then you're not going to go back. But if you're anticipating this is happening, maybe you're listening to this and you're hoping to get pregnant, whatever the case is, that was really cool to do. I would recommend taking a picture of your belly like now at like the time that you find out you're pregnant, so you could see the progression of it. I personally had like an outfit, like a Calvin Klein, like little like shorts and sports bra outfit that I took most pictures in. I definitely did not take a picture every single week, but anyway. Okay. So those are just like cutesy little things we could do. Back to like actual tactical things to do, call your OBGYN. So of course, I'm assuming you have a gynecologist that you go to at OBG. I would call them to tell them, hey, I just got a positive pregnancy test. I'm pregnant. Depending on when you actually find out is going to depend upon when you're going to go in. Most of the time, they don't see you until 8 weeks, until you're 8 weeks pregnant. If you find out right away, like I did, you're 4 weeks pregnant, which sounds weird. You're like, wait, but I just missed my period. Wouldn't I just be pregnant like right now? But they count it from your last period. So you're technically 4 weeks pregnant when you find out you're pregnant. If you find out right away and you know like that day that you're supposed to get your period. So it is a long time to wait to go to the OBGYN, which could be super nerve-wracking, especially if you have had experience in the past miscarriages, or you have been trying to get pregnant for so long and you have to wait that like long period of time to go in. If you do have a history of miscarriages, they might see you earlier. I'm not sure, you have to talk to your doctor, but regardless, if you do find out right away, it is a really like nerve-wracking 4 weeks, just because you are like, oh my God, I just want to go and I just want to hear the heartbeat, because you can't feel anything yet. Like you could feel changes in your body, but you can't like feel the baby moving. So in that first trimester, even just between every single visit, once you go, like I know for me, when I was like sitting in the chair, like waiting for them to put the probe or whatever on my stomach, or in the beginning, they shove it up your vagina because it's too small to see like over the stomach. So your first appointment, they will shove a probe up your vagina. So just forewarn your partner when they're coming with you, so they're not like, what is going on? But anyway, it's like, I remember sitting there and just being like, oh my gosh, just hear a heartbeat. I just want to hear a heartbeat. It's like very nerve-wracking at first because you can't feel them moving. So anyway, most of the time you're not going to be seen until 8 weeks. What I would recommend, which I thought this was standard practice, but when I talked to some friends and some clients, this isn't something that they did, but I think it's really important and it is really helpful for like easing any anxiety in the beginning. Once I called my OBGYN, they sent me for blood work, not like the full blood work yet. That comes at your 8-week appointment, which I'll talk about in a second. But they sent me for blood work just to test my progesterone levels and my HCG levels, because that's what it's really important to see in the beginning is increasing over time. So I went on like I don't know, let's say it was a Monday. I don't remember. So I went on Monday to test my progesterone HCG levels. Then I went 2 days later to get the same levels tested again. And they wanted to see that they doubled, tripled, that they were increasing the amount that they're supposed to be increasing, because they're supposed to be like doubling, or I don't know the exact amount, but they're supposed to be increasing a ton every single day in that first trimester. Because again, progesterone is the sex hormone that holds onto and nourishes that pregnancy. It keeps you pregnant. It keeps that uterine lining intact, which is why ovulating is so freaking important, whether you want to get pregnant or not. But obviously, if you do want to get pregnant, ovulating over time is really important to build up that progesterone to keep your uterine lining intact. So that is why they tested the progesterone HCG levels in the beginning. So it was really like calming to see after I got those levels tested. Oh, okay, things are progressing in the right direction. Everything is increasing. Like everything looks good so far. And they're like, okay, yes, this confirmed your pregnancy. This confirms that everything is fine. Like we'll see you at your 8-week appointment. So if they don't automatically like recommend you do that when you call and tell them that you're pregnant, I would absolutely ask them like, hey, can you send me a script to test my progesterone HCG levels? And they should be able to do it. I mean, for me, I'm like, why wouldn't they do that? Like just off the bat, I think that's so weird to, especially when you're finding out so early in your 4 weeks and you're supposed to wait till 8 weeks. It's like, let's just get some stuff going right now. So I would definitely recommend that if they don't automatically tell you to do that. And again, you're going to take it, like you're going to go, I believe it was fasting. I can't remember if it was fasting or not, but anyway, you go one day and then 2 days later you go again. And just to see again, if that increase is happening. So I would highly recommend that. Then at your 8-week appointment, when you go in, they're going to send you for like a CBC, a complete blood count. That's you're going to see like all your levels of everything, of like your vitamin levels, your hormone levels, your blood sugar levels, like literally everything. They want to like see what's going on. What I would make sure, this should definitely just be in there like standard, but definitely make sure that they're testing your ferritin levels for your iron. I would also make sure that they're testing for your B12 and for your vitamin D3. You want to see what those levels are like, because those are so important. And during pregnancy, that is going to change. I did a whole nother podcast episode, I think, I'm pretty sure I did, on iron and how to prevent anemia in pregnancy and getting your ferritin levels tested more frequently. So I'll link that below as well, but definitely make sure that that is in the complete blood count that they're giving you at your 8-week appointment. Because you're going to want to see, okay, how are my B12 levels? How are my vitamin D3 levels? How is my iron levels? Because those are our usual nutrients and minerals that can be deficient, and you want to make sure that they're not, so you could supplement accordingly. Which brings me to the next thing to make sure that you're doing when you find out you're pregnant, which I'm praying that you are already doing this, but maybe you aren't doing this yet and you didn't think that you had to take a prenatal until you got pregnant, but I'm hoping that you knew this already. But if not, better late than never. Make sure you're taking a prenatal, and not just a prenatal. We need to take other nutrients as well, which I'll talk about. But ideally, if you're listening to this before you're pregnant, ideally, I want you to be taking a high quality prenatal. I'll talk to you about the brands that I love in a second. A high quality prenatal for at least 6 months before you even start trying to get pregnant. And the reason why is because, number one, this is going to help support your hormones balance out. It's going to help support nutrient density, which is so important, because nutrient deficiencies is one of the root causes of hormonal imbalances. So we want to build up your nutrient stores to make sure that it's supporting your hormones as best as possible, so that you can produce hormones at optimal levels to help support your fertility and your cycle in your process of actually getting pregnant. But secondly to that is, in your first trimester, the baby is getting most of its nutrients for itself, based off of your nutrient stores. Because a lot of times in the first trimester, people will be nauseous and stuff like that, which there are ways to prevent that, but which also could be in your prenatal, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I'm looping all this back. All right, just stick with me. I know it feels like a squirrel moment, but I'm coming back to it all. Okay. But and now I said that, and now I just lost my train of thought. OMG. Okay. Nutrient density. Right. So first trimester, the baby is getting most of its nutrients off of your nutrient stores, because a lot of times in the first trimester, you might not have as big of an appetite. You might be throwing up and you're like, oh my God, is the baby getting enough nutrients? A lot of times it's off your nutrient stores. So you want to build up your nutrient stores as much as possible, taking a high quality prenatal for at least 6 months before you even start trying getting pregnant. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I just started trying, I'm not taking it, just start taking it as soon as you're listening to this, if you're not already. Okay. And if you are taking one, but it's not high quality, highly recommend the needed prenatal. I mean, like, I cannot stress how important it is to make sure that you're having a high quality prenatal. So many of the ones that you find online, in the store, even in Whole Foods, whether you're going to like a CVS, a Walgreens, even the ones that your your OBGYN recommends for you, are absolutely awful. Literally awful. They have barely the enough amount of nutrients in there that you need just for yourself, let alone for you and baby to thrive, because it's going to prioritize baby. So we want to make sure that, yes, the baby's getting everything they need, but then that you are getting everything you need as well. So you need a high amount of nutrients in your prenatal. Most of them are completely like devoid of actual nutrient density. And it's literally enough just to prevent birth defects, which, like, yes, obviously we want that, but like, can we have a little bit of a higher standard here? It's absolutely ridiculous. They also have fillers in there that are not needed. They have nutrients that aren't in absorbable forms. It's completely ridiculous. Like, some of the ones that I've seen prescribed from an actual OBGYN with red dyes in it, with fillers, with dairy, with all this horrible ingredients in there, I'm like, this is absolutely insane that your doctor's actually recommending this. So anyway, highly recommend needed. They're therapeutic ranges. They're absorbable forms. They are, they have a lot of research behind it. They're also vegetarian friendly. They're just amazing. I'm obsessed with them. So go check them out. Obviously, if you've been listening to this for a while, you know I'm obsessed with this brand. They also have omegas in their shop. I'm having a hard time speaking today. It's all good. Let's just keep it going. I love their iron supplement, their choline, like all of it's really important. It's not just about a prenatal, but obviously you want to make sure you're taking high quality supplementation. So I'll put the link in the show notes for needed. Highly recommend. You could use my code Corinne, Corinne, for a discount. If you want to check that out. If you have any questions about them at all, definitely message me. But anyway, that is for sure the prenatal that I recommend. And I want to make sure that you are taking a high quality one, obviously before you get pregnant, but even if you just find out that you are and you aren't yet, or you're taking one that you don't like, switch to this one. Okay. So that's that. Take your prenatal. The next thing is a lot of time, like for me, when I first got pregnant, I was like, can I have sex? Can I exercise? Like what's going on? So you could of course ask your doctor. Like I called my doctor and I asked them this. I was like, can I have sex? And they said, yeah, like you're totally fine to have sex, because I didn't have any previous history of anything going on. If you have a previous history of miscarriages or anything like that, this might be different for you. You might not be able to have sex. You might not be able to exercise, because two of my friends who previously had miscarriages, when they got pregnant again, their OBGYN told them to avoid having sex until 12 weeks. So it is dependent on your specific situation. So definitely check with your doctor on what your rules are. So that's something that you could ask them when you call. So when you call to tell them you're pregnant, you can ask them, hey, can I have sex? Can I exercise? Like, what does that look like? Because they're going to know your health history and they're going to be able to guide you appropriately. For me with exercise, I was able to do everything that I did beforehand. But the thing that I don't love is like, there's this general idea that as long as you did an exercise before pregnancy, you can continue it through pregnancy. But in my opinion, some exercises that maybe we were doing before pregnancy are not actually supporting what we want to be supported through pregnancy, which is our pelvic floor, and like your glutes and your hips and things like that, for like opening up, for strengthening your pelvic floor. Some exercises don't actually support that. So maybe while it's safe to do because you did it prior to pregnancy, it's like, is that though actually supporting the pregnancy as much as I want and supporting my body as best as I can to then help in the postpartum time? So just a little caveat on that. But anyway, that's the deal with exercise. Excuse me. Generally, they're going to tell you, again, if you don't have any health history of anything, they're going to tell you that as long as you were doing it prior, you should be good to do it now. But listen to your body. And that's the next tip that I would say, is really pay attention to your body, because things are going to start slowly changing within these first 8 weeks. And then obviously beyond that, but you're going to maybe start feeling more fatigued. And I remember in the beginning, because I'm someone that always has like high energy, like I always have high energy. And I was fatigued in that first trimester. Like it is a tired that cannot be explained. Even now, like when I'm getting like, I mean, it's better now 'cause she's 6 weeks, but still depending, she's still up like every 2 hours. But in the beginning, it was like every 45 minutes I was up. I was barely sleeping when she was first born. You're so tired, but it's a different tired in your first trimester. Like you literally feel like your body, like you cannot even move. It's so insane. So if you're feeling that, listen to your body and know that that is normal, that you're feeling that tired. It's because your body is literally growing a human, but also the reason why you're feeling so fatigued in the first trimester and you don't later on in pregnancy, or most times your energy comes back in second trimester, is because your body's also building an organ, growing an organ. It's growing the placenta, which the placenta is then going to take over all of the work that you're currently doing in the second trimester, which is why you usually get your energy back. But not only are you growing a human, you're growing an organ in the first trimester. So it's literally taking every single ounce of your energy that you have. So if you are noticing that you're more fatigued, please rest, put your feet up, do what you can. Obviously, this is going to be different if you already have a child, if you're working full time, like whatever it is, you're not just gonna be able to like lay around all day, but do what you can to rest when you can and just listen to your body. If you're feeling super fatigued, don't push yourself to do the workout. This is a different season of life. And it's weird because in the beginning, it doesn't feel like anything is really different because your body isn't changing it. You're not feeling the baby inside of you yet. So you're just like feeling these random things within your body. So you're like, I'm tired, but like, I shouldn't quote unquote be tired. So like, let me just do this workout. Really listen to your body. Hydrate like a mother effer. Okay. Make sure you're hydrating. That's going to really help with morning sickness and nausea. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. I have other episodes on that I'll link below, but make sure you're really hydrating. What you can do to also help with nausea is consistent small meals. That's going to help you too. So make sure you're really prioritizing not skipping meals, and that's going to really help with the nausea as well. But really this episode, I'm not going into tangible nutrition stuff. I really wanted to just go into like action steps you could take to make yourself feel like, okay, I called the doctor, I did this, I'm getting this blood work, I'm making sure I got my prenatal intact, I'm listening to my body. Here's the deal with exercise, here's the deal with sex, that kind of stuff. Oh, and this is what I wanted to circle back to. I knew I would forget, but I came back to it because I just thought about it with the morning sickness. The vitamin B6 is really, really helpful in preventing morning sickness or helping reduce it, and like the nausea that you can experience. And a lot of prenatals, again, don't even have it in there or don't have it in high amount, but the needed prenatal does have a high amount of B6 in it. Okay. So I personally did not experience any morning sickness, any nausea. I did have a little bit of nausea. Let me back up. I had a little bit of nausea a few nights, probably like 3 nights at nighttime. Yeah, it wasn't in the morning. I never threw up or anything, but I know exactly why it happened. And it was because I went too long in between eating and having dinner. And once I stopped doing that, I was totally fine. So it was about like 3 nights. It wasn't even 3 in a row. I don't remember exactly, but I felt like nauseous and just kind of like, I wasn't even really nauseous. It was more like I didn't feel like eating. It was just like kind of like, ugh, like sick to my stomach type of feeling without actually throwing up. But anyway, the vitamin B6 is so important for helping that. And it's in a really high amount in the prenatal, which I think is one of the reasons why I didn't experience any morning sickness on top of all the other things I did. So anyway, these are just some steps to take. I hope this helps like ease your anxiety in the beginning. Getting that blood work right away with the progesterone HCG levels was really, really helpful for me. And honestly, just remembering like your body is designed to heal. Your body is designed to thrive as long as you're giving it exactly what it needs. And in order to give it what it needs, we need to listen to it. So really just tune in and listen to whatever your body is telling you at this time. And just trust your body. Like we have to just trust your body. And I know it's going to be the easier said than done, especially if you've had any history of miscarriages or anything like that. I know that it's going to be a lot harder to actually trust your body, but how can you lean more into it? How can you allow this experience to be literally an opportunity to trust yourself even more, to trust your body even more, to tune in even more, to just trust the actual process and know that this time is different. Why is this time different? Maybe because you're doing things differently. You're eating differently. You're taking different supplementation. You went into this pregnancy with a different mindset, whatever it is, just noticing that, okay, I'm allowing this time to be an opportunity to trust myself and my body more instead of it being a time to just be extremely anxious and feeling like the same thing is going to happen that did last time. And again, I know this is easier said than done. And that might not mean that 24/7 you're feeling like you're trusting your body. It might creep in and stuff, but how can you allow yourself to trust your body even 1% more than you are right now? And it's going to really help support you during this process, because the first trimester is just such a crazy time. It does go fast, but it's just like looking back on it now, it's just like, it's the start of the journey. And like I want it to be enjoyable for you as much as possible, because you're never going to get this time back. You're never going to have the same first trimester that you're having right now back again. And I want you to enjoy it, which will bring me to, if you're still listening to this, and this is you, whether you just found out that you're pregnant, whether you are trying right now and you're hoping to be pregnant soon, whether you're like 8 weeks in, whatever it is, I created this actually during my second trimester. It's called Flourish. It's a program. It's called Flourish in your first trimester and beyond. And I really go into all the different aspects that I wish that I had information about when I was in my first trimester, like how to eat to support my body, how to eat to reduce and support morning sickness, how to just navigate the roller coaster of emotions, what's actually going on in my body from a hormone perspective, how to prioritize iron and what's happening with all of that, exercise. Like there's so many different things that I talk about in this program. The whole point of it really is just for you to feel more relaxed and more calm and more supported during the process, and so that you can actually thrive and flourish, hence the name, in your first trimester and beyond, because the things that you're doing in your first trimester are going to carry throughout your entire pregnancy. And it could be a really shitty 12 weeks. It could be a really amazing 12 weeks. And obviously there's genetic components to this as well, but there's so many things that we can do naturally to not only support baby and make sure that we are giving baby as best of nutrition and everything we possibly can in the first trimester and throughout the entire pregnancy, but also that we are helping ourselves feel as good as we can throughout the entire process. It's a long time to be pregnant, to not feel good, to not know if you're prioritizing yourself properly. So the strategies that I teach you in here are not only going to help you in your first trimester, but they're going to carry you through every single trimester so that you do feel amazing, that you know how you're getting enough protein, that you're having enough calories, that you are, reducing that morning sickness as much as possible. Or if you are getting it, you know how to combat it. Like, there are things that you can do, and it's not talked about enough. So I have this available for you. It is completely passive. You purchase it, you get immediate and lifetime access to it. It's pre-recorded because I had done it live back when I was in my second trimester. So now it's just there for you whenever you want to grab it. But what we're doing right now is because literally I was having so many people message me saying they just got pregnant, they're found out they're pregnant, they're nervous, they're freaking out. And I was like, okay, I need to bring this program back around because clearly there's a need for it right now. And I know how much it's going to support you. So I'm so excited to offer it again. And just, it's literally always there, but I just like kind of forgot to talk about it because it just wasn't top of mind, which is why it came into my head. And then I was getting all these messages about it. So I'm like, I know this is the perfect time to talk about it. So anyway, all the information will be linked in my bio. No, not in my bio. In the show notes. What's happening? Everything will be linked in the show notes. But if you are listening to this the day that this episode is coming out, I'm doing a really fun, like, first few people hopping in, like scaled pricing type of thing. So the price of the program is $333. For the first 5 people, it's $111. And you also get my supplement masterclass with it, which the supplement masterclass alone, when it's sold separately, is $111. So it's like literally insane. But I'm like, I love doing fun things like this. This is just something new that I started doing once I had Madison. I feel like in my feminine energy, I'm just so much more creative. I don't know. I want to make this fun because, like, why not? And it's just a win-win for everybody. So anyway, first 5 people get it for $111 plus a supplement training. The next 5 people get it for $222 plus a supplement training. And then the next 5 get it for $333 plus supplement training. And then after that, it's just $333. That's just the price that it is. If you're listening to this and you're like, this is months later, you could always pop in. The link will always be there. It's always there for you, but I just wanted to do like a fun thing for the first few people hopping in because it just brings fun momentum to it. I just love it. And it's like, if you know that you want in, like, let's just go, let's give you an incentive. Let's just have it be a win-win for everybody. So that is there for you. Obviously once those spots are up, then that's it. But message me if you are in, because I want to celebrate with you. This is only available for the first 48 hours. So if you're listening to and it's probably going to be gone within a few hours anyway. So if you're listening to this in real time, make sure that you're hopping on it if you want to get in and you want to get that pricing. Again, if you're listening to this after the 48 hours, it's still always available for you. Okay. So message me. I'm so excited to help support you in this way. I cannot wait to see what you think about it. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. All the information for the needed prenatal will be in the show notes. All the episodes that I talked about with first trimester will be in there. Let me know if you are currently pregnant or you just found out. I love when you message me and tell me like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. This is so exciting. And you feel like you can't tell a lot of people, but you want to tell someone. So you tell me. It's like the most amazing thing ever. So I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.